a king who will restore and renew all of creation. And the truth is, we all long for that king. This is why there is no culture in the history of the world who does not have some variation of a story of a good king who is gone but someday will return. Every culture subconsciously is longing for the return of the good king who created everything long ago, and they're longing for his son to return and to rule and to reign. Think about stories that are famous to all of us. Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest, laughing back and forth at what the other had to say. Oodle-lolly, golly, what a day. Here in America, we're like, I don't look for a king. No king but King Jesus, yet we are for some reason obsessed with the royal family. And what do we do here in America? Since we don't have a king, we create kings. You're a celebrity, you're famous for making a video, tell me what to think and I'll do it. You're an athlete, tell me what you wear and I'll buy the same exact things. We make politicians into kings. We make celebrities into kings. Why do you think all of our movies are about superheroes coming to rescue us from evil? Because as a society, we long for Jesus. We turn boyfriends and girlfriends into kings. I'll do anything for that one person who shows me some love. So we say things like, I never even knew love existed until I met you. You didn't know your mom and dad before that? You never heard of God before you met this boy on TikTok? Come on, are you kidding me? We turn boyfriends and girlfriends into kings, and celebrities and influencers and superheroes, and we turn ourselves into kings. I control my fate. But really, our attempt at controlling our own fate is a subconscious longing for Jesus to rule and to reign. We turn reality stars into kings. I will follow everything that you do. And if you say this is good, I'll believe it. And if you say it's bad, I'll believe it. We follow politicians. You can change all the laws, and whatever you say, just make our world better for some reason. We long for a king just like the children of Israel. We long for a good king to rescue us from our broken, sinful world and from ourselves. In Matthew's gospel, Jesus preaches 5 different sermons. And each sermon he preaches, he is discussing the law. Why? Because there's 5 books of the Old Testament law. And so the 5 books of the Torah, Jesus then comes to fulfill them and to show that he is king over law. And he preaches 5 different sermons about the law. His names used in Matthew are Messiah, King, Lord, Son of God, Son of Man, Son of David, Son of Abraham, Emmanuel. All of these are Old Testament names referencing future coming kings. It is showing that he is the fulfillment of the old covenant and the king of a new covenant and a new kingdom of which there is no end. So Matthew jumps immediately into showing that Jesus Christ came to fulfill and to rule and to reign over the law. But he also shows us that he is a king over creation. He's a king over creation. The wise men came and talked about this star. They said, "Where is he who is born King of the Jews? We have come to see the star." Think about how powerful of a creator God is, that way long before any Roman emperor ever thought about writing a tax, God gave a path in antiquity for a star to follow on a pattern so that they could predict and know exactly when and where it would appear, all the way in the book of Daniel. Then he also allowed people to read that book and to study that book and to know for a fact that, yes, this star is coming on a pattern. But also, because I like to think about it in ways of Ohio, he also cleared the skies so they could actually see the star on a daily basis so they could follow it, which is a miracle because he's got a pattern set in antiquity, but God did not just allow that to happen and nothing else. He also worked to remove the stars or the clouds out of the sky so they could follow the star on a daily pattern. It shows us that he is a God who cared for us a long time ago, but he's also a king who controls his creation and works over his creation to show us that he loves and cares for us. Think about the weather here in Ohio. We can't predict what's happening tomorrow. And yet God kept the skies clear so that they could follow this star. Thirdly, he's a king over history. Matthew 1:3, Judah, the father of Perez and Zerah by Tamar. Matthew 1:6, Jesse, the father of David the king. David was the father of Solomon by the wife of Uriah. You ever read the genealogy of Jesus and think, what in the world is that talking about? The Bible on purpose places broken, sinful people at the beginning of Matthew. At the very beginning of the New Testament, God says, by the way, there was a king who was supposed to represent Jesus Christ, but he abused his kingship, coerced someone into adultery with him, and then murdered her husband, and yet Jesus still came from that lineage. Why? Because he's king over history. And what does that tell us? It tells us that no matter what we've done in the past, God is greater than our past. It tells us that God is greater than our past history. And so while people may attempt to bring it up consistently to us and may attempt to attack us with our past, God has already worked over our past. He is king over our history. He is creating new things in us daily. His mercies are new for us each and every day. Your history does not define you. Jesus does, because he is the king of your history.